really every facet of culture that you can imagine was swept up in what was called Egyptomania. Hello, my name is Megan Forrest Singer and I'm Associate Curator at Biltmore Estate. Today we're going to talk about our special exhibit, Tutankhamun, his tomb and his treasures. I think a lot of people wonder why this exhibit makes a lot of sense here, and there's actually a really amazing connection to the Vanderbilt and Cecil families and their historical story that we tell here at Biltmore Estate. George and Edith Vanderbilt had one daughter, and her name was Cornelia. In 1924, she marries a man named John Cecil. John Cecil's mother was a woman named Lady May Cecil, who grew up in the Thyssen-Amherst family, which had a deep and broad collection of Egyptian objects that she got to experience from a very young age, and it just sparked this passion in her. And she wasn't the only one. Also inspired by the Thyssen-Amherst collection was a young man named Howard Carter, who would go on to discover Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. Between 1914 and 1919, John Cecil, Cornelia Vanderbilt's husband, was the undersecretary at the British Embassy in Cairo, and he was even touring archaeological sites. And who was a better guide for a young John Cecil than old family friend Howard Carter, who actually took John and his colleagues on a tour of the Valley of the Kings, including an excavation site that Howard Carter was working at that was less than 100 feet away from where he would discover the tomb of Tutankhamun. We made a very deliberate decision to bring a replica exhibit to Biltmore Estate, and that was for a couple of reasons. The first is over ethical concerns. These objects belong in Egypt. They testify to Egyptian history. People that are going to museums in Egypt should have easy access to their cultural history, but it's also a matter of the safety of the objects. Traveling is really, really hard on things that are more than 2,000 years old. These objects were crafted by Egyptian artisans working in Egypt with the original objects as a reference. They were created using incredibly scientific methods that were very precise, incredibly meticulous, and made the objects as close as humanly possible to the originals. It's incredible that we have a collection in the mountains of Western North Carolina. The creators of this exhibit worked really hard to bring together the most complete array of objects out of Tutankhamun's tomb, including things that are in private collections or that were in far-flung museums all over the world. So this is really one of the first times that all of these objects have been together in the same place.